Nerds, we have an announcement to make.
It's large.
There's a massive box to my left, your right, that we'll be unboxing with lots of cool stuff in it. We've been asked about this a lot. Anytime we fish with these, people show interest in these and they're like, hey, do you have a code? Do you have a discount code? And we didn't for the longest time, but now we do. We're talking about Buzbe fishing. The tackle boxes that are easily the most customizable, very durable, and they float, which is nice.
Yeah, it is.
Especially for us in kayaks.
They also look cooler than heck.
So today we have a pretty massive order that we got in from Caleb, the guy that runs the company, the guy that created these things. And if you guys want to pick these up, you now can get 10% off, which is pretty nice considering the price point and what you get with these. So all you got to do is click our link in the description below, or you can use BurlyFishing 10 at checkout and you'll get that discount. Highly recommended. You guys are going to love these boxes, especially if you're like us, where you're like, you know, Plano Edges, for example, have been great, especially the terminal box. Yeah. Yet we're not satisfied entirely with the standard 3700 sizes or the 3700 deep, and we just wanted more customizability and more things that we could do with it. And you can make a lot of changes on the fly, since we switch from lakes to rivers to ponds, etc. Bank angling. Like,
my favorite thing is like in the fall where we don't know what we're gonna fish and you have your day box. Where I find the most value is like I'll have like 4 different trays, like you'll see what these look like in a second. I'll have 4 different trays and I'll be like, I don't need all of my jerk baits, for example. So when I go to make my day box, I can grab one tray, just pull it out of there, plop it in my day box, and I've got like 2 or 3, 4 jerk baits. And all I had to do is go boop, boop, and like I'm done. And then I can go, well, I know I want spinner baits for that day too. I get the big square, I can fit 10 spinner baits in that little square, plop it in. And I'm like, oh, I want lipless. I just grab the tray that has some lipless, plop that in. And I just like put together a day box without like shaking out 15 of the ones that I want and like basically having to like redo all my org. So
speed organization for sure. So if you guys love tackle organization, if you love tackle boxes, if you nerd out on tackle, consider subscribing to our channel. Smash the like, ring that notification bell. Come back Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern when we go live. We'll probably have Caleb on.
We need to have Caleb
at some point
again,
because I really want to nerd out on tackle organization on the podcast.
Hearing him the last time we were on, one, he had some insane stories about how he was able to like start this business and work with.
Well, when he got lost in China, it was a great
completely
story.
Insane.
He's got new crazy stories. We just talked to him the other day. You guys, I'll save it for the podcast.
And it's really cool to also hear about the engineering process that went into this, because it really is a highly engineered box. They were really thoughtful about the design and some of the changes they made, because you know we've given them feedback, they've heard feedback before, and they've been really intentional about like, okay, we're doing another run. Let's make a change to make the box more about what people actually want.
So there are a lot of new items in this video, new to Buzbe. So if you guys want to look at some of these, again, use our link in the description below. Just go to buzbe.com and you can see this. It's B-U-Z-B-E. And we're going to show off the new stuff in a second, but first we have to replace the standards. So if you guys have watched us go fishing, you know we use 3700 size boxes almost exclusively. Go ahead.
So like a 3700 size box is sort of, you know, there's like the smaller, and then there's the large, like what people consider large. We're talking 3700 is like the larger size. A 3700 would be like this big, 3600 would be about this big, 37 would be about 50% bigger.
And you'll see them both in this. For Buzbe, they're called the Colony 15 because it holds 15 cube spaces. You'll see in a second. They're Legos, think Legos. So there's 15 1x1 spaces in this. And then the 3700 size is a Colony 28, which means 28 1x1 cube spaces. Let's just get into it. So we're gonna open the standards first, and then knives out. Okay, so if you guys are just getting into Buzbe, if you have a little bit of expendable income, right? If you got some cash you want to spend or allocate towards organization, you're gonna want the Colony 28 starter kit. But seriously, this is an awesome way to get started. It gets you 6 boxes. You can also get the Colony 15 starter kit. This is the 3rd time I've bought one of these, by the way. I've unboxed these before. They come in a really well done, graphically designed box. Look at this thing. Shows you all the cubes and different configurations down there on one side. And it shows you the internal layout, blah, blah, blah. This thing's heavy. We're gonna open this. Couple important notes here. Everybody asked about this. Rust resistant. Obviously important, you don't want all your hooks getting rusty. So that's massive. Waterproof gasket, you'll see it in a second up close, industrial strength. Caleb drove over this multiple times with a 7 billion ton truck. Like,
it's a little less than that, but
his giant lifted truck. Sun protected, it's a clear lid, so you can see everything in there nicely. But you're not having your colors fade out, which is important for sure. And it floats, that's huge, we already mentioned that. All right, let's get into this.
By the way, we have tested all of these different components. So we've had these boxes for well over a year, and we have been testing using each one of these. Well, I hate to call them claims because they're just facts, but all these like components of the what Buzbe's calling out.
So inside, we're gonna find stickies.
Not just stickies, but like these are decals, and they're actually super nice.
I believe it's pronounced decals.
Decals.
Okay, so inside of this, we're gonna get 8 billion cubes. So all of your configurations come here. Keep going, keep going. Basically, Paul and I are gonna set these up real quick because these are what we're gonna use today. All right, so we're gonna take 2 that came empty. They're completely blank canvases.
By the way, before we get into filling these, so this is what an empty box would look like, and this is how they work. So you have these 2 latches. They are heavy duty, they're metal and plastic. When you open up the box, you're gonna see that gasket. So this is the rubber gasket that is indented on the inside of the lid, and then when you're sealing it, it's sealing on top of this top ridge. And then these latches actually pull down on the gasket, and that's what makes it watertight. One thing to note, if you fill these too high and you're pulling the gaskets down, that obviously puts a lot of pressure on the latches. That's undue and undesigned, and it makes it less waterproof. One thing I will call out about the empty box. So before you even start filling these out, there's actually a lot of purpose that I have found in just empty boxes. So some of my older boxes, one is my frog box. I have all, because topwater baits are all different sizes, they can touch each other and it's not gonna be like a problem, they're not gonna hurt each other. And by having an empty box without any like real organization, I can fit a bajillion topwater frog type baits all in one box, and they don't get hooked up. So I probably have 40 frogs in my just like empty box. So
I have 40 frogs. I'm so cool.
Well, that wasn't the point. But
humble brag.
It's also really, really clutch for like tools and things like that. So if you have sort of like a bunch of miscellaneous size things, instead of putting bins in, you can just dump it in. Super useful.
I actually use it for camera gear.
100%.
Have for a long time, full of cables and such, because it's waterproof, so that's nice.
Crucial. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these trays and we're gonna configure them inside the box, just like so.
And it's gonna be done now. Ta-da! There it is. We filled it up.
And we're done. Yeah. So these are your options. So you've got a 1x4, so 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, so it's not wider than 1. So that's why the 1x4 means you get a bunch of 1x3s, which you'll see here, a couple 1x2s up top. Then you get the 1x1s, and this is one of my favorites. This is the 1x4. So typically with the 1x4s, a lot of people can use these for like stick worms and things like that. So I like to use these for crankbaits and jerkbaits, those longer style baits. The 1x3s, those are best for crankbaits, in my personal opinion. 1x1s, I'm usually using these for some sort of terminal. So hooks, I think they do best for weights. One thing that I know is a point of frustration, which I'm going to work on this season, is finding a cool solution for the loudness of having terminal. Like you just got things bouncing around inside of plastic. I don't love that. Now, that's a problem with every single box that you're gonna see out there, but one thing that I have found that I think is really cool is just getting strips of foam and just gluing them to the bottom. That is gonna eliminate a huge percentage of that noise. And then
paint chipping and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And then right here, this will be a 2x2.
Yep.
The square one, dude, I'm telling you right now, I cannot explain how clutch this is. If you're a kayak fisherman or if you're somebody who's a bank fisherman and you're just like limited on space, having this allows you to have, and I kid you not, when you just stack them up inside of here, anywhere from 5 to 10 spinner baits. Spinner baits are a problem in a kayak because they take up a lot of room and they don't fit in a traditional like style of box.
Your option is basically taking this gigantic bulky thing,
which I honestly forego every single time. Every single time I forego that. Another thing you can do is you can actually just remove all of these and you can put buzz baits in here. So they're a little bit longer and they create a problem, but all you have to do is just take these out, leave an empty space, and you can put like a dozen buzz baits. So there's just...
And these lock into place, so if you removed one, they'll actually hold in place.
So not a problem, right? So I do love that. And then again, as long as you're filling these properly, close it up, and you got a waterproof deal right here just by shutting your heavy duty latches.
Bam.
There you go.
Just like any other tackle box, don't overfill it. Just make sure you're good.
Some other things to note, these do nest, meaning I'm moving side to side, these are not moving together. They're actually nesting and like sort of resting each other. So you can see the lid here is indented. You can see this indentation around the outside of the lid. And then you got a matching one on the bottom. So they nest within each other. There's also a place for you too, if you're a boat fisherman or anybody who really cares about storing their tackle. There is a hole that runs through here and lines up with each one of the ones when they're stacked together. So you can put a cable through there, or you can put individual locks in each one of these so that people cannot steal your tackle. Maybe when it's in your truck, for example.
And
Oh yeah, that's right. I
They actually make pull tabs for these. So you got a nice little Buzbe pull tab. So then you do this thing.
There you go.
You can do it. Ta-da.
Oh God.
So now, were you to store these this way, which I know a lot of boat anglers would.
Well, like a kayak angler would.
Well, we store ours like this.
Sometimes, but maybe not anymore.
So in your crate in a kayak, if you're storing them this way, now you got a pull tab. And then they come in different colors, so you can color code them. That way you're not just like, is it this one that's my frogs, or is it this one? All right, so now we've got our boxes, we've got our little pull tabs here. Yes, moving on, let's check out some new stuff.
This would be the new.
Look at this. So what we've got is what they call the quick cube. Now this is the large variation. If you could just, thank you, thank you. So with the large variation, it's actually mirroring this Colony 28. Look at that. It's like exactly the same size. So what that means is in your tackle bag or in your crate, in your kayak, or in your boat, you can actually just slide that in right next door to these guys, which is really helpful. So this is for the big bulky stuff. We got tools, we got chargers and cables. These are weatherproof, so it's not just filling with water, although you probably don't want it fully exposed to the elements if you're putting like batteries and different things like that in here.
It's not submersible.
But if it's raining a little bit, you're fine. And as long as you don't, submerge this,
there it is,
then you're gonna be okay.
But great for like a jacket and all the other stuff that goes with it.
Dude, plastics. Like this would be like quick access. So say like today, we just got a bunch of slick baits from Slick Bait Co. that we unboxed. If we wanted to fish a specific type of plastics, we could get it out of the big bin, fill this baby up. It's the go bag for the day, which is really how I intended to use it. Also fishing line and leaders, lots of different options. Dry clothes.
I basically have a lot of crappy.
So cool.
I have a lot of crappy versions of this that I'm using.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see where and how it's gonna fill up my kayak.
Hold that. That's
wow.
For you.
And the nice thing about these is they're not hard-sided. So being able to flex them around allows you to put some of that awkward side stuff in there and makes it even more useful than just like sort of a standard hard case box. Jeff noted that this is the same size as the Colony 28. Oddly enough, they have another one of these that is a smaller size that matches the Colony 15. Jeff can't get it open because he's there it is.
Check it out.
So this is the one that matches the Colony 15. Same exact specs and everything. It's just downsized. We love the clear window, we love the welded seams, we love the handy zipper, we love the label pull, and we like the fact that we can move it around and do things like, I think this to me screams first aid kit. Like this, that's probably what I'm gonna use for. This also screams toolkit. This is a little bit bigger than what I'm using right now for the toolkit in my boat, and I think it's gonna be what I'm gonna use for, like, I would have 2 sets of screwdrivers, 2 sets of Allen wrenches, 2 regular wrenches for hex bolts, glue, and seal, marine goo. So that's what I'm gonna have in my kit, just in general. So I think that's gonna be an absolutely perfect size for this and leave a little bit of room for the essentials, toilet paper.
Very essential.
And
do not want to get wet.
Super handy. So this also fits a lot of standard size clamshells. So like those larger trickworm clamshells fit nicely in here, which is a good solution other than like those big bags. Those huge bags are just, they get a little bit bulky. This would be a solid option.
Koozies.
Oh yeah!
We got those as well. I already gave you a bunch.
But I'm gonna fill this one.
Give me a bag. All right, so next up, we actually moved back into the boxes. So they made not 1, but 2 different thin box variations. One is the 15 of a variation.
So let's compare the 2 right there. So this is your standard box, and obviously here's the thin box.
Holy cow. So takes up a lot of space. There were people who complained about like the bulkiness of Buzbe.
Which is a legit complaint. So as somebody who, I do a lot of, well, Jeff and I both do a lot of river fishing. This is actually, could not be more perfect for fitting inside like a river bag, but allowing me to carry all the baits that I want to carry still. Because they're all downsized, so this is perfect.
Look at that. And these bins are a little bit different. So you'll notice versus the Colony 28 we just unboxed, obviously thinner. Obviously they also don't have that little lip or that edge on the side, which is cool. So it takes up less space overall.
I'll show you what the standard looks like compared to these thin ones.
Yep, look at that big beveled edge there on the side, right? Also thicker plastic. So very cool, great variation. Like Paul said, would be a great river box. I'm excited for this.
Or a terminal tackle box, which is one of the things that I think I want to experiment with. Is like, how can I make the perfect terminal box by customizing one of these Buzbees? A lot of people will do that with the 1x1s. So that style
I've done it.
Box right there, just like these little 1x1s right here.
It is very loud, so we're gonna have to make some variations to it this winter.
Agree.
Stay tuned for lots of tackle changes, customizations, tackle hacks.
The one that Jeff's about to show you is the one I'm most excited about because I'm gonna get to use it the soonest. So I will get to use this little thin guy.
It's a cute little baby.
Like honestly, this is where ice fishing.
This is ice.
This has got ice fishing written all over it.
It's replacing this guy, which is totally fine. But I like this better because we have a little bit more options as far as compartment sizes. And you could put a square in here. So we could put a 2x2 from that 15 thin into there, which would be nice. Whereas this, you get the dimensions you get. You can really just collapse the rows a little bit. That's the only change you can really make.
Also, way more heavy duty than the other one.
And it floats.
It's the biggest, I mean, which I don't care about for ice, but I really,
But what if the ice broke?
Then I have way bigger things to worry about.
No. You're attacked.
my $100 of the jigs. The other thing that's really cool about this is like if you're using some kind of scent, if you have the baits that need to stay in the plastic, which I do have some that need to stay in the plastic for ice fishing, all I have to do is pop out one of these and I can shove them in there, which I think is really cool. So I am all about this. I'm really excited for this one. So we had the thin, but you can go the other way too. So here's the standard. You can go with the fat boy. So there is the deep. So they went the other way with it. So for crankbaits, swim baits, larger baits, or just bulk baits, you do have the option for a deep box as well.
The first time you open these things, they are like vacuum sealed.
There you go. They've been in transit.
Look at that. So we did get all the long boxes on purpose in here. So every one of these boxes, by the way, there we go. Look
Holy smokes.
Super deep. Still got your Legos on the bottom. Thin sides, right? Gives us enough room, though, for a lot of my medium swims and glides. So the full purpose for this, for me, was to take things like this mag draft that I just got and go bloop. And Mike the Pike, who is going to fish today.
Down into the black hole. That
there we go.
The deep box.
So we got one 1x4 and a whole bunch of 1x3s. So this will be for, one, maybe two bigger baits. And then all of these other compartments, right now, this is gonna be like my soft swims, right? So all the bigger soft swim baits that I've got, they're gonna go in here.
The nice thing is
be protected.
And the nice thing is you have the ability to stack on top. So not just larger baits, but you can stack them up. So a lot of people that do like the trick worm thing that we were talking about, where they're putting soft plastics, you can essentially double the number of worms you're putting in here without damaging those worms. So that's another thing that a lot of people are using this for.
Boom, deep. All right, so that's honest to goodness, all of the boxes, I swear. We've gotten through them all. So now...
So you have the two smaller thin boxes, you get the standard 28, you get the standard 15, and you get the deep 28. That's what we've got here for you today.
It's a kit, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So adding to the line of new stuff, we've got rod covers that are probably the most heckin' heavy duty things I've ever felt.
Super high quality.
This section is insane.
Yes. Super high quality.
This is like all coated in rubber. There's the Velcro on the back if you want to throw a patch or a label on there. You got your little zippy tie thing here as well.
So that's actually one of my biggest annoyances with some of the cheap ones that you get. So the reason you have this elastic cord is so that you're going to actually
go down around your reel.
When you're reel. And this works for bait casters as well as spinning setups. You're just going to slide your rod all the way through the rod protector there. And then as you get to the, wow, it's like too long. So as you get to the bottom, obviously this could slide right off, right? But not if you're going ahead and taking this elastic and just putting it around the reel handle and then tightening it down. So put my elastic around there, tighten it up, and now this thing can't come off because this is holding it down. Now the nice thing about that is you can actually fit maybe 2 rods into this at times, and so being able to wrap this around both reel handles is critical. So this will be the last of what we would consider the new stuff. So what we've got here for you, these are called the flats. So these are basically the same type of idea as those moldable cubes. They've got the color-coded tie here. They've got the zipper. But this is going to be perfect for, again, they put it right on your trolling tools, jigs, cables, really anything that you can jam inside it. This is the longest skinny one. It's about 3.5, 4 inches deep. And
here's the large fat one.
Big boy.
So this one is quite a bit bigger. Now the cool thing about this, you see these little tie spots right here, so we can zip tie this to something. Our idea is for these These can go on the inside of the hull of your boat. They can also hang underneath the seat.
The back of the seat.
Or they can go on the back of the seat, which is why I wanted to get this one for the back of the seat. And what I think this would be good for back of the seat is like just kind of go products, like stuff that we want to use on the go. So I'm thinking line, leader line, some of my tools, wallet full of money. Look at all that money.
So this is just like generic storage, which I really, really like. Now, a lot of people have said you can definitely put plastics in here. The other problem with that is you can't fit very many. I think one of those other cubes is a lot better, but the nice thing about this, as Jeff said, is you can pretty much zip tie this to absolutely anything, anywhere.
The crate, actually, was the other thing I was thinking. Like, you know,
side of the crate.
Behind my seat, side of the crate, and you have one of these on one side, one on the other.
I will also say this is going to work really well for things like luggage, inside your truck, anytime you're traveling. Like that, I feel like this is sort of like a new place for Buzbe to be playing. It's really easy to think of this as like tackle storage, but honestly, a lot of those soft cubes and a lot of this is going to be, for me, camera gear. A really easy way for me to transport it, move it, keep it safe because they are weatherproof. It's just really, really clutch. So TBD on what I'm going to be using this for, but a super flexible storage option that's going to keep your stuff safe.
We're not going to figure it out today, I can tell you that much, because we need to get right on the water.
Bye!
All right, so there's all the new Buzbe stuff, as well as obviously the classics with the Colony 28, but you got new thin boxes, the size 8 box, which is insane, perfect for ice or just, you know, finessey gear, or maybe trout fishing.
Terminal.
We're going light pack. Like, so wading the rivers, and we have like our
mule fishing, ultralight stuff.
If you're running a smaller-ish pack like this, where you don't have a lot of room for like a full, the Colony 28 will not fit in there, I can tell you that, but that'll fit really well.
Super easy.
So great option there, good variations. Hopefully you guys saw something that you liked in this video. If you did, consider clicking our link in the description below. Go check out Buzbe, get your 10% off. BurlyFishing 10 is our code, and if you use our link, it should auto-populate.
And it's really important to call it, like, they're not giving out discounts. Like the number of this, like, you're talking about a premium product for sure. I mean, we've got to understand what we're dealing with here. There are not a lot of discounts codes out there. This would be one of the very, 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 very limited ones.
So use ours, and we're like one of the first groups of people doing this with them, so help us look good, because you know, Caleb was hesitant at first, but he's been a really cool dude, and he trusts us, and we trust you guys, so help us out. Get some Buzbe in your boat or on the bank with yourself. You're gonna really, really enjoy it, I promise you that. Click that link in the description below and use that code BurlyFishing10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, smash a like, ring that notification bell. Come back Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern when we go live, and we'll see you there. Going fishing! Goodbye!